All right. Yeah. All right. All right. Good day, friends. If any of you are here. $13 months. Oh my God. Big shot. Thank you, buddy. Good evening, everybody. Give me just 1 second. How many subs do we have now? Oh shit! Wait. Pozdrav, Alexandra. Good evening, Notorious. Give me 1 second. Home. You're live. You're live, bro. Alright, I see. Omega Lul. Stop with that. I'll ban you temporarily. Barcode, my friend. Good evening. Let me just eat my banana and then we start programming. So yeah. It's going well, man. Been at work. Not really big, but yeah. My pleasure, man. It's always fun. Thank you for asking. I've been at work. Pretty tiring week. We are planning OKRs, objectives and key results for the next quarter. I did barcode. I'm just, even tonight, I'm barely streaming. I just didn't want to skip it because I love streaming, right? But yeah, I didn't rate it in detail because it's just a very long week. Again, you know, as I'm a tech lead, you know, I'm one of the 6 people who is, you know, organized, who is part of the quarterly OKR plannings, right? So my brain is really shifted in a different, it's in a different space right now. But I will read it. I will not forget. I promise. It's just even again, like yeah. Yeah. OKRs are a system how you can run your company, right? At Dream Data, we are running objectives and key results, right? Objectives and key results is a way of working to give autonomy to your team, right? So instead of feeding your developers with tasks and treat them like they're tools, you create objectives for each team, and then each team in your organization, they figure out how to reach that objective. So in simple words, if you and me were working together, instead of me coming to you to barcode, saying barcode, I want you to build these features and this is how you're gonna do it, I say, well, barcode, this quarter, I want you to increase the number of users who sign up in Programmer Network, right? And then barcode and that specialized team in our organization would figure out how to do that. So this is how we operate on Dream Data. We don't give tasks to developers. We're driven by objectives. So this quarter, we want to achieve these objectives, and then each team in the organization needs to figure out internally how to get that, right? On the red team, yeah. So this is the way to empower teams. If Marty Kagan, if you don't know who Marty Kagan is a kind of messiah of product development, and he wrote 2 books. One is called Empowered and one is called Inspired, right? So those 2 books are really great. I would highly advise you to read them, especially Inspired, you would learn a lot about how to build products. So if you want to kind of know how to build products, then Marty Kagan Inspired would be a great book. You also have this book in Audible on Amazon Audible, so you can also listen to. I mostly past couple of years, Anton, past 6 or 7 years, I'm mostly buying audiobooks. I have Audible on my phone. That's mainly because, you know, here in Copenhagen, we spend a lot of time on our bike. You know, I I spend 100 kilometers on my bike every week minimum. So I have a lot of time when I'm biking to actually read, or to listen to those audiobooks, right? Yeah, so this is the way to work, right? I don't think I could imagine working differently anymore, right? So in simple words, you don't want to treat your developers as tools. You want to treat them as engineers, as problem solvers, as people who are capable to find solutions without you feeding them tasks, right? There's nothing worse for me personally than being a tool, right? Oh, come to work, I'll give you those tasks. When you do them, this is not very inspiring and not very empowering, right? So OKR is one of the systems where you actually give trust and autonomy to your teams, and you're driven by the outcome, not by tasks, because tasks are useless, features are useless, right? If you're building something in your company and you don't actually know why and what, it's like, hey, we want to refactor feature X. Why? What is the outcome of that? How do we measure the outcome, right? You get what I mean, right? So like whenever you're doing something, you should ask, right? You know, like, well, why? It's like, hey, let's refactor all of this. Let's use a different language. Okay, why? What is the outcome? How do you measure it, right? All right. Anyway, that's it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we want to do today. Just give me 2 seconds. Cool. All right. And hello, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I can see that people are slowly joining. Okay. So what we're gonna do today, let me see. So did I kinda, under quotes, finish this part here? Let's see. All right, so actually, it might be a little bit random, right? But let me just let me just do one thing. So we have this finalize sign up thing. Always ask why. I mean, this is not, it's not that I came up with that concept, right? It's a very simple concept, but it's the most logical question to anything in life. Whenever somebody suggests something to you, you can instantly in 2 seconds cut something that's actually unnecessary almost instantly, right? Yeah, that's how I operate. It's always like on top of my head, always. Why is always like sitting here. And it's not just why to others. I ask myself why all the time as well. You know, I sometimes have an idea. I'm on a biking home from work. It's like, oh, this would be super cool to do. And then I ask myself why, right? And then I instantly ditch the idea because I realize it's actually pretty dumb. So, no. It's nothing to do with skepticism. It's just being pragmatic, right? If you have a suggestion that you can't provide argumentation for, then it's not good. It's not. Okay, so let me just do one thing. So I just let's start. I don't overanalyze them. No, I don't. I never feel like that, right? I don't go deep into that, right? I don't go deep. Like, you don't have to do that, right? I don't overanalyze things, right? I just ask basic questions, right? It's like, hey, let's do this. Why? So try to think about outcomes, not features. Like, if you're a developer, right? Don't think about features. Think about outcomes, because nobody gives a shit about features. Feature is a side effect. You have to think about why are we doing something and what is the outcome of that. Hey, let's refactor this whole page. Why, right? What is the outcome? And you have to be able to measure the outcome, right? What is the outcome of you putting in that work? Is it more users? Is it more happy users? What is the outcome, right? So whenever you want to do something, right? Well, don't think through features, think through value, right? Right, just think through value, right? So instead of thinking about features, think about value. What is the value, right? And then what is the outcome, right? Well, that's the thing, right? That's the danger zone you can put yourself in. Anything can create side effects, right? But you can't operate a business like that. You cannot say, well, let's just do all sorts of things and something will work, right? That's the point, right? I mean, of course that building some features sometimes will have good effect, but that's not sufficient. You cannot just keep building features, right? Thing is, life becomes a lot simpler when you simply start asking why, right? So just start there, and the rest of the path is gonna reveal itself. You don't have to that's why I say there's nothing to overthink, right, Anton? Just start with why. Somebody comes to you, say, Anton, I think we should use this new CSS library that came out 4 seconds ago. The main question is instantly why. No, but that's it, right? You have to be pragmatic, right? You have to, if you, if like, as I always say, right? If you're a software engineer, right? If you're a tech lead, if you are whatever, right? And you want to influence change, right? You have to be the one to persuade others into doing something. So if you want your team to use something, you are coming up with that suggestion, right? You have to then be the one to sell that to others, right? It's not on them to buy it from you. It's on you to sell it to them, right? So that is the difference, right? So if you have some idea and you come to my stream and say, Alex, why are you not using this latest JavaScript best thing in the world, right? Right? You have to sell it, right? You have to say why. What is the value? What would it do, right? Yeah. Well, actually, so let's copy this, right? So let's copy this, right? So for example, this is a great statement, right? Skrandre said this, right? He said, I'm doing a complete front-end refactor, but it's only because it was completely... Thank you very much, Anton, man. I'll see you later, buddy. So this can be obviously read in many ways, right? This can be interpreted in many ways, right? But let's break this down into something, right? So, complete front-end refactoring, right? It was completely unmaintainable, right? Of course, I don't have the context, so I cannot know what that means, right? But you can always interpret this in 2 ways, right? First thing is like, whenever you're doing this, you're making... It's a huge risk, right? It's a huge risk because your assumption here is that this is gonna be a lot more maintainable, right? But then you can ask the question, well, maybe this was also maintainable by a person who originally wrote it, right? But anyway, let's imagine this is true. Let's just say it was indeed maintainable. So what is the outcome of this, right? What is the outcome of this refactor? If you came to me and I'm your tech lead and you said, Alex, I want to refactor the whole app, I would ask you those 2 things. Why? And what is the outcome, right? So why, you could say, well, we spend 60% of time fixing code and 40% of time building features, right? So that could be a solid argument on why, right? If you said we're spending 20% of time fixing code up to 40%, I would say that's normal. It's normal to spend 20 to 40% time on technical debt. That's normal across organizations. But if you said 60%, 70% or whatever, then I would say, okay, why? And what is the outcome, right? Then you would probably say, okay, faster release cycles, happier developers, better development experience, right? Etc., 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 right? And you better nail those actually, right? So if you decide to do such a huge task, this is very dangerous, right? This is like a high risk thing, because you are making an assumption that you're gonna refactor the whole thing and not make mistakes, not introduce regressions, blah 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 blah, right? So simply, yeah, it's very, very dangerous. Anyway, that's how it is. Okay. Yeah, don't take me wrong, Scrunger, right? I trust your judgment, right? It's just always, that's always a high risk thing, right? It's always a high risk getting into refactoring things, but it's sometimes indeed it's absolutely necessary, but it's always a huge risk, right? And it's a risk because again, there's absolutely no instance in which you will not introduce some regressions. I'm 100% sure you will, because it's impossible to refactor the whole application without messing something up. I've never seen someone done that and not mess something up, right? So there's no question about that. There's no question about that. And that's also okay. If that still brings more value than before, right? Then that's also fine, right? All right, cool. All right, so let's see here. Okay, sure. So let's go maybe to source views, dashboard, courses. All right, so let's get over here. Yeah. Andre on YouTube. Hello, buddy. All right, so yeah, so maybe, yeah, let's just kind of get a bit into it, right? Where did I just add this? Here, right? Let's say PB2. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, right? Add section, yet another section. lectures. Yeah, okay, exactly, right? So here, I guess we could also, I don't know if I actually want to do that, but let's give it a shot, right? Let's try saying index and then dot, right? And then something like this, just so it kind of, and this should be index plus 1, right? So let's just say here. Where is the metal? You're absolutely right, my friend. The problem is, since I'm now also streaming to YouTube, I can't play copyrighted music. So don't by no means misunderstand me. You're 100% right. I miss it deeply. Whatsoever, you know, every time the video gets blocked on YouTube, and that kind of harms this project because, you know, the VOD that some people actually, believe it or not, even watch there actually just goes to shit, right? So it's kind of, yeah. So yeah, so it's not that I'm... Yet another section. Okay, I wonder... And maybe, just maybe, give me 1 second here. Where did I do that crap? Here, right? Maybe text Excel. Yeah, maybe that's better, right? So let's go to courses. This thing, yeah. I don't like this line whatsoever, unfortunately, right? So what I'm gonna do, didn't I have like a divider of some sort or something? I think I had a divider. So actually, yeah, screw this, right? So let's kind of put this bad boy, let's kind of nuke that stuff. And then if we get down here, can't I just say like, didn't I have some sort of divider, right? Divider, oh my god, that sounded great. Divider. Courses, let's do this. Yeah, exactly, right? Oof, that's quite radical, actually. How did I actually add section? Oh, I see. Ah, okay, I see. Okay. Lectures, yeah. Sections, yeah. Yeah, actually, so let's do something like this, right? So let's do this. Let's say class name. Let's say h2px bg rows. Just something distinct so we can see it. Let's say width full, just for a second, right? Yeah, so let's just, yeah, exactly, right? So let's just something distinct, and we're gonna say here if so let's call this section index. What happened? Yeah, I need to check one thing, wait. Obi, my friend, good evening. What did I want to do? Yeah, I don't know what the hell is happening with the freaking VS Code. Yeah, super strange. How come that wasn't? Okay, so if we kind of put that there, that's great. Where's that rows rows thing. Yeah, over here. Okay, so let's do Rebecca, my friend. Good evening. Let's say here my2, just to see what's actually happening. my4. Then, well, obviously that's not going to be red. We just chose this color now. Yeah, that's a bit strange, right? Try 8. Okay, so it does actually work, but it kind of sucks, right? So we have this gap of 8 as well. So let's kind of, yeah, let's nuke that for a second, right? So let's nuke this gap just for a moment, just so we can actually see what the hell is happening. All right, so that's maybe okay. Now let's go here and let's say, where's the rows thing? Yeah, say BG, what do we have? BG background color 40%. Yeah, that's okay. That I like, actually. Add lecture, add section. Test section. And then, yeah, I see, all right. Okay, that's not too disgusting, right? Then we can scroll there, right? Yes. Cool. No, well, they're completely different, right? There are no two buttons next to each other. When you add a section, sections are not nested inside each other. So when you create a section, you can only add a lecture into it. You cannot add another section into another section, right? So this add section has to be the last, right? This is going to create a new section, this box that you see here, right? If I understood you well. Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, that's a good feedback you're sharing, because maybe I should make it more distinct. Because this is one section. That's why you see I'm adding those separators, right? This is one section, another section, blah, 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 right? So yeah, maybe I mean, is this music, if, wait. Give me 1 second. There you have the poll, guys. So please just click yes or no. Lagoza, good evening, buddy. I think that's a very good feedback, man. I think that's a very good feedback. Because indeed, the problem is once you... Well... So I think so this is the problem, right? The problem is that when you make a section, right? That section goes to the bottom, right? So the UX logic here that I follow is that if I click add section in here, it kind of implies that that's where I'm adding it. If we move this button to the top, like here, add section, which also makes sense, I think, then you're gonna make it, but it's gonna be created at the bottom here, right? Which means that we then either have to auto scroll to that newly created element or something, right? So you can see both choices have a consequence, right? A consequence of your suggestion would be that it's not apparent where that section has been created, right? Versus this way, you already have scrolled here, but right? But it doesn't seem, right? You get me, right? So both decisions have a consequence, right? Your thing is definitely, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't think I don't think that this is something, right, that's so common that people are going to use, right? I mean, lectures are probably, you're going to probably have very few sections and then many lectures inside of them, right? But again, don't take me wrong. I think your suggestion is great. It's just hard now to figure out which one is better, right? Because I would just as well like add lecture here, right? The problem is that then it kind of becomes a bit disconnected. It gets out of the context, right? Because you can see once you create a section, then you keep creating lectures inside of there, right? So it kind of feels more natural. You're inside of that context, right? Now you know that you're in here. Same goes in here. Somehow when you create this new section, right, you kind of end up there, and then you're going to keep clicking add lecture, right? If we would move this button to the top, then that would feel maybe kind of, right? Well, I mean, again, we can add it to the top, and I think, again, that's not a bad suggestion. It's just then when you actually create it, it will appear on the bottom, right? Because you cannot add the newly created entity on the top, because you will not be creating a course in reverse. You're not going to be creating your course starting from section 6. You get what I mean? So you're going to start with section 1, you're going to create it, then you're going to create a section 2, you're going to create a section 3, right? You get me, right? So that's hence why I made this decision, but I don't actually know, right? You might just as well have a great point. Who knows, right? Who knows, right? Yeah, I mean, we could do that. Like, don't take me wrong. Why not, right? I mean, it's a super simple change, right? It's a super simple change, right? I can just grab this bad boy here, right? Right? And then if we go to something header, dashboard header, right? We can just smack this bad boy here, right? And let's make sure that we wrap them in a give me 1 second, where is it here? So here they are, right? Add section, and we actually have to make sure, give me 1 second. So add section. This is a new section, hi world. So if we would leave it like this, a user would have no context. Like, what the hell happened? Where is my section? So they have to scroll down. And we could, in fact, programmatically scroll down once you click this button, right? So we can just as well try that, right? What do you guys think? There is the poll. If you guys can just vote, I would appreciate it. Yep. Well, we don't actually have the routes. We don't. Dinka Adrian on YouTube is asking about the route. We don't have the route for this. This whole experience. This is the dashboard for creating courses. So if you want to edit anything that you want to edit, you click on it and then you edit it in here. That's the whole point. I built the CMS so you don't need to be taken away from the context, right? But it's a very good question, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna use scroll into view for sure. So when we add it, right? So let's, that's amazing. Actually, we should do this more. I mean, a lot of people, like, yeah, I think it's also fun for people to... Okay, so let's see. So we need to get a reference to something, to some element, right? So what we can, maybe we can get a reference to the UL, and then we can scroll to the bottom of that UL, right? So maybe here we can create a ref, right? Dashboard course, we're gonna say here const UL ref is equal to use ref, right? Numinex, my friend, good evening. Shit, what would this be? Whew. Yeah, I don't think this would... Wait. Which one was it? This one, right? All right. So we have a pretty big scroll here. Interesting. What happened with my section? Did we... Oh, why is it here? Okay, that's a different problem. You mean the drag and drop to sort them? You mean sorting? We're not gonna have that now. No, but I agree. But we're not gonna have that now. We have 0 courses on this platform. When there's more people writing them, then we're gonna add some features. For now, we will not do that, right? But I agree with you fully. It's just absolutely unnecessary now. So we actually do get this, right? I don't remember by heart the API for scroll into view. So let me just, I don't remember, there was something, there was position property, I think, if I recall. Instant auto, no, block, inline, defines horizontal, no. Block end, yeah, this is what I meant, yeah. But no. Yeah, maybe. No, not really. We can implement drag and drop easily. I already wrote an endpoint for that. We already have sorts. We already have an I already wrote an API for that. Here's sort lectures, right? And we will just copy paste this and have sort sections, right? So no, not really. No, it's just it's not necessary now. That's all, right? Behavior smooth block end. All right, so let's take a look at that again. Oh shit, sorry, my bad, that's why. No, it's all good. It's all good, right? My bad. So I put this in a wrong place. Where is the create section, right? We need to handle create section. This is where we actually have to put this bad boy, right? Yes, okay. All right, let's try that again. That's why, right? Sure, no problem. Hey, Joe. Thank you, everybody, for your follows. Now, there we go. There we go. Okay, almost. Actually, I think it did work. I think it did work. I think it was just, let's see again. Does it work or not? Yeah, so it almost, right? It almost works. So we're missing some things. Behavior smooth block end. Yeah, 100%. Inline nearest. I don't actually remember. I don't remember the API of this. Let me read it. If true, the top of element will be aligned to the top of the visible area of the scroll width, and says. See, courses, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. So I think, yeah, I see what's happening here most likely. I think the issue is probably related. I think, yeah. Let me try that. Give me 1 second here. So if I get rid of this top thing, right? No, not really. Okay, so it's yeah. Hi, Alexander. I'm quite new to programming. Do you have any recommendations on where should I learn React? I mean, if you're completely new to programming, you should not be learning React. You should be learning programming first, right? So you should pick JavaScript or any other language. And I'm just assuming that you haven't done this. If you have, you should learn React on the official React website. Okay, so very interesting. Okay, let's ask ChatGPT. My pleasure. But again, yeah, React is just a library, right? There's nothing magical about it. You should learn some programming first. You know, understand the loops and statements and functions and right. And then that's what React is really. It's just a simple library that utilizes functions and statements like everything else, right? It doesn't matter, right? I mean, those are just technical details, right? This is nothing important, right? Who cares what it says, right? Nobody memorizes this crap, right? If we had to memorize all of this crap, we would never build any software, right? So who cares, right? What it says, it's not relevant, right? Screw it, right? Yeah, I mean, keep doing the. It's when I say fundamentals, I don't even mean it. It's a beginner type of stuff. When you learn the core of programming, everything else that exists is based on that. The whole programming is all about if statements, loops, and functions, right, and variables. That's really all that there is to it, right? So don't think when you say fundamentals, don't limit yourself in a sense thinking that, yeah, that's just some beginner stuff. No, it's not. Programming is really all about 5 different simple concepts combined together, right? So that's really all that there is to it. Courses are money grabs. Well, I have to kind of disagree with you there, right? I think, and again, I don't want to offend anybody, but I mean, you have to keep in mind that I think it's unfair to expect to get everything for free, right? If somebody records a 30 hours course, goes into detail, spends 300 hours doing that, and you don't think that's worth $10, I respect your opinion, right? But I disagree with that, right? People pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to university, right? And then we are reluctant to pay $10 for a course, right? Courses are not money grab at all. I disagree completely. If you go to Udemy, and you buy a $10 course and you actually finish it properly, I guarantee that you're gonna learn. I guarantee you that you're gonna learn. But nobody is able to finish a 30-hour course because people are unable to focus on anything. So it's not true. If you go to Udemy, they're insanely good courses. Insanely. The amount of effort that those authors have put into that is incredible. To record a 30-hour course, you need to spend probably a few hundred hours to record it, re-record it, script it, etc., etc. If that's not worth $10, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with you. Are there free resources out there? Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, if you can find that, right? It's just, I'm saying, people spend enormous amount of effort and time, and I think it's worth paying for. I bought many courses at Udemy myself, and I think those people are selling it way too cheap. Okay. And of course, right? I mean, finishing any course is difficult, right? Simply because it takes effort as well. It takes effort for those authors to make it, but then it takes a lot of time if you want to truly learn. It's hundreds of hours of studying time. You cannot just start a course and watch it. That's not a movie. It's not Netflix. You have to build things, stop, come back to it. Some lesson is not going to be clear. You're going to pause the course, go to YouTube, find the corresponding lesson, learn that, go back to the course. So it's really not about resources or free or not free. It has never been past decade. It's about consistency, continuity, hard work, right? Because everybody, all of us, myself included, we always seek for that course, that one majestic thing, right, that's just gonna teach us all. But such resource doesn't exist. It's just fundamentally a lot of work, a lot of sweat in your butts, a lot of sweat on your chair, and that's just how it is. That course that we're all seeking for does not exist, right? And it will never exist. Well, I don't think that's the thing, Totem, right? I don't think that courses are about doing. That's not like a video game where you cannot learn 30 hours of programming content in 2 weeks if you're a beginner. That's impossible. So it's not about finishing the course, it's about learning. And those two things are vastly different. Anybody can follow along the course, mimic what the author is doing, and finish it. But understanding hundreds of concepts that you're going to be introduced in this 30-hour course is impossible to do in months, let alone weeks, right? Especially, again, if you're a complete beginner. So it's a silly assumption to, right? You cannot, nobody can do that. You cannot do that. One thing is finishing it, one thing is actually learning and understanding and stuff like that, right? So I'm definitely agree that at least the new generation, you guys don't have the problem of content. You have all the content in the world, and like somebody said, you also have it for free. It's the matter of, yeah, just focus. You have to, yeah, that's really all that there is. There's nothing more to say, really. And again, please, when I say you, all of us, right? No, why the fuck, man? It doesn't matter what videos include, man. That's not relevant, right? Only thing that's relevant is, are you able to learn that or not, right? All of that is just buzzwords, right? It doesn't matter what the video includes, right? What matters is that, are you actually building something with it or not, right? Sure, but the thing is, again, all of that stuff that you want or not want to learn is irrelevant, because you have to do it. You have to build stuff. Because if you just finish something by mimicking, you will not know anything. In 2 days, you will forget that you even did that course, right? So that's the problem. Applied knowledge, you have to apply that knowledge, right? JS Maniac, thank you very much, buddy. I wish you a good night. Can you take a look at my VS Code theme? I'm sorry, I can't right now. I'm doing the work right now, so can't do that right now. Maybe later. I think that's what we're doing already, right? Yeah. But that's the thing, Totem, right? I mean, I think when you write something like that, right? So when you write something like that, right? I think what you're inherently saying is that the content from which I learned, you learned, and programmers learned past 40 years have been perfect. There's no such content that's fully accurate. There has never been. You can go to Harvard, Stanford, MIT, and not all content is going to be accurate. That's not how programming is learned. That's like saying I will only learn to play tennis if Federer, Nadal, or Novak are my coaches, right? That's programming is not about perfection, especially when you're in the learning phase. It's about repetition. It's about building things, right? Yeah, but it's fine, man. Like it's you cannot. That's not what beginners need anyway, right? A beginner doesn't know what's right or wrong. And it shouldn't. A beginner should be building things and reinforcing their skills over time, right? So that's the point, right? Like, it's not true, right? Sure, like, what is right or wrong, right? I mean, the 10x developer, Google makes mistakes as well. Nobody is always right? So I think the expectations are unrealistic, right? I mean, it has never been easier in history of programming to become a programmer. It has never been so easy. You know, in 2008-9, when I was working, when I started my career, and not to mention before that, it was 10 times harder because the content was even worse, and it was way less of it than today, right? And it was so much worse than today. So much worse. Like, if you go to Front-End Masters, for example, if you go to Udemy, those are super powerful resources. Like, this resource alone is amazing, right? Why is it amazing? Because it's amazing because you can see the mentors who teach here are actually, you can find where they work. This guy works for Temporal. This guy, I don't know, this girl, this lady works for Spotify. This guy, I don't know, works somewhere, right? So those are not some random people. So you can assume that those people know what they're talking about just based on, this guy works at Vercel, right? Codesmith. You get what I mean, right? Yeah, I mean, but what do you expect, right? What it is that you expect? That's the fundamental question. Like, the video is going to be outdated. Well, I mean, the author doesn't have a magic stick to update it in your head and there, right? You get what I mean? So it's like what it is that you expect. Like, books are getting outdated. The best books on the planet that exists are getting outdated, right? I mean, that's how it is, right? I mean, laws are getting outdated, right? I mean, you understand what I mean? So it's rather about what it is that you would expect. Let's technically imagine that the courses can be as you imagine them. Can you tell me what it is that you imagine, right? Of course that things get outdated. I mean, that's normal, right? But fundamentals don't get outdated, right? So if you watch a course on React that was recorded 5 years ago, you will still learn the core of React, and most of it is still going to be valuable. Today, maybe we're not using classes anymore, we're using hooks, blah, 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 but you're still going to be hearing about reconciliation, about virtual DOM, about component composition, so you cannot say that they're fundamentally outdated. SQL has been the same for 40 years. True. Yeah. Good evening, buddy. But it's yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I hear you, right? I just don't agree with that, right? Because then, following your logic, please don't take me wrong, I genuinely understand what you're saying, and to a degree, I understand your concerns. But if I follow your logic, nobody ever should buy a course, right? You get what I mean? So if you would follow your logic, then courses should not exist. In universities, anywhere. History gets outdated, updated, geography. So if you follow that logic, then we should not really learn anything because it's going to get outdated, right? You cannot learn things which will happen in the future. You can only learn things that exist today. And when the new things come out, then you're going to learn those things as well, right? So it's kind of, it's almost like you're saying, well, I wish that I can learn things which will come out tomorrow, right? Shit, this is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we want, right? Yeah, 100%. So please, and again, as you just said, we don't have to fully be agreed on that. It's right. It's just think about it, and I will think about it as well. But if you think about it logically, right? If we take that type of stance, right, then you know, at least that's how I think right now, right? Then should we even ever just have courses, right? Yeah, for sure, man, for sure, 100%. I've been a developer for 10 years. I've been developing for companies for 4. I just needed to jumpstart my React knowledge, but I don't need the basics, program basics, so that's right. But I mean, the thing is, so this is the thing, right? If you've been developing for 10 years, and I trust you told them that you did, then this question should be already very clear to you. You should go to the official documentation of any technology and any language and learn it there in 2 days. Assuming that you know what modules are, what function attributes are, which of course you know, assuming, then it should be no problem for you to learn React in 3 days, maybe even less. So what you should do, you should go to reactjs, you should go here, you should click learn React, you should do this tutorial, and that's it. You want to learn AngularJS, you would do the same. You would go to Angular, you would try the new Angular, you would try Angular, you would build this app. That's it. You don't need a single course. You want to learn Golang, you go to Golang, you go to the playground, you go learn, you go playground, whatever, a tour of Go, you finish this a tour of Go, and you start building an API that you built in other languages, and you learn Go. Right? If you, with that experience you have, you should never need to learn anything from the bottom-up approach completely. You don't need to learn what a function is, what a variable is. Well, but that's the thing, you're not supposed to read, you're supposed to build, right? The alternative to this, you have 2 ways to learn anything, really. You have the bottom-up approach, and you have top-down approach. Most people, in my experience, also when I was teaching at Thinkful at the bootcamp, most people are learning best when they're in the middle. So the biggest issue why people don't like schools is because it starts completely from bottom up. You start with concepts, it takes 3 months to start building something. You learn all of the crap and you keep wondering, why am I learning that? What is the value of this? And then 3 months later, you actually build something tangible. So that doesn't work. Also, you can't really start on the top. You cannot give to a complete beginner, say, just build an app, and you figure out what that is. So you have to find the balance. But for you, experienced developer, you can just say, okay, let me find my, I don't know, whatever you're writing, jQuery app, and let me rewrite that in React, right? And then you start there. Then you go to this documentation or Google and you say, okay, I have this jQuery function that renders this HTML. How do I do that in React? Then you go back and forth between different concepts here, right? And that's really all that there is. So you don't need a video course, right? But I hear you, man. And you suffer from a syndrome that many professionals suffer. You didn't force yourself fully and enough to build up the habits of reading documentation. So you're not alone, and you're not I don't fault you. I don't think it's something that you did. You just need to break that ice, and just because most of those 30 hours tutorials are literally just videos that someone went here, read this crap, and made videos off of it. That's really all that there is. Because a video cannot teach you more than an official documentation can. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Tailwind has great documentation, indeed, 100%. Yeah, man, we had so much chat, I haven't done anything. Literally. Yeah, certainly interesting chat. No, okay. I mean, as somebody said, but I mean, again, right? It's really about expectations, right? Like you have to really like align your expectations with reality. That's why I always emphasize so hard that there is no course out there that people are looking for. There is no magic video, magic documentation. You cannot learn things without reading them, right? Either way, no matter which path you choose, bottom up, top down approach, no matter what. You get what I mean? So it's like, it's never a choice, right? Yeah, right? Because again, when I worked at, so for those of you who don't know, I spent 5.5 years working as a mentor, right? I worked, if you take a look at my LinkedIn, I worked as a technical expert and mentor at Thinkful, right? For 5.5 years, right? Remotely. And I had around almost 170 students back then. And what I can tell you based on this data, just so you know what I've learned, not technically. I learned a lot of stuff by teaching. I think the most stuff that I learned in my career was when I started teaching. There's no better way to learn than teach, because when you're teaching, you have to understand things on a different level. You cannot go to your student and say, this just works. Forget it. Forget how it works. Right? Hence, you can see often how sensitive I am in this stream when somebody comes and shares a shallow statement and I say, there's no value in that. You get what I mean? Yesterday somebody came here and said you should use, I don't know, use effect and React as less as possible. And that was the whole sentence. What is the value of that, right? What does that convey to, let's say, somebody who is a beginner? What did you just say? Why? You get what I mean, right? So when I was working as a mentor, I've noticed that students who did best were students who were able actually to focus. They weren't necessarily the most talented to say always, but I had students, if I told them you have to study 30 hours a week, they would do 30 hours a week. If I told them you have to study 40 hours a week, and And most of those who actually built things, they succeeded the most. I mean, I know it sounds like super stupid, like what did you just tell me, that those who put in the work, they made it? I know it sounds silly, but at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's all that it takes. If you don't put in the work, it's like, I don't know. It's silly, I know, but yeah. All the microservices, the Dream Data where I work, they're written in Go, yes. MDN is amazing, exactly. So why is this not scrolling then? I mean, like, I agree with Totem's suggestion. We could do that. I mean, it's really like, I would be very happy that we do that. Why not? If it would help people, right, to at least get some pair of just an opinion from someone else, why not, right? But yeah. So this is gonna get the element position. Why is it not scrolling? That's what I don't get. Handle create section. Why is it not scrolling? Let me actually put it somewhere else, right? Let me put this inside of the header. Let me put it here, just so I can spam it, right? So why is it not scrolling? That's the issue, right? Let's what the hell is going on? Current scroll to bottom. Let's take a look at that. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, so that's all correct. Well, I mean, this is basically, right, the this is the so this so this is the element, right? And we're trying to scroll to the bottom of it, right? So actually, let's try this, right? Let's try this. So let's say here store as object, right? Let's store this. Give me a second, right? So what we can try doing, we can go here. We can right click on this object, this DOM node, right? Let's say scroll into view. No, so let's actually do the review. No, store as global variable, right? Then we could say temp1 dot scroll to. Is there like, wait, scroll into view, scroll to X and Y, right? So let's say 0, 500. And let me go all the way to the top. So let me actually do it like this. Let's do this. So it's not doing anything, right? Super strange. What is scroll height actually? Yeah, wait a minute. A scroll height, sorry, yeah. I mean, yes, so... So why is it not scrolling it? I don't get it. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait a minute. Wait. Where's our ref? Wait a minute. I might have an idea. Isn't it because the scroll is not actually on the UL? It's actually... let's try this, right? Give me a second. Let's try something like this, right? So if we go courses, blah, 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 we get over here, right? I click add section. That's, yeah, actually it's fine. So now, yeah, no. So it's not this, it's still, yeah, I think we got it. Give me a second. So I think we should actually smack this on the actual sidebar here. So the reference should be here instead, right? Not the UL. All right, so let's get back here. Let's click this bad boy. So now, no. What the fuck is this, man? Wait a minute. I think I put it in the wrong place again. Yeah, I put it wrong. My bad. Wrong place. Where is my nav? Here it is. So here's the nav, right? So this is where I should put it. This is where I should put it, right? Yeah, exactly. So let's try now. So temp1 dot scroll. So there we go. Okay, beautiful. So now technically, if I actually click this fella, let's actually go to the code. So if we go to anchor ref, yeah, now this is unclear, but let's see. Oh yeah, exactly. Wait a minute. Jesus Christ, man. Are you kidding me? What the hell? Okay, yeah, I see. No, it doesn't scroll still. Jesus Christ, man. Come on. Okay, that's strange. All right. So yeah, this, yeah, I see. All right. No worries. I think I got it. So we need two refs, I think, for this. We're gonna need the container, so ul container ref, and then we're gonna need const ul ref. Even though we don't really need two references, right? I guess we could get a reference of the child element, right? We could, yeah. Forget this, right? But anyway, let's just rename this. Let's call it ul container ref, right? Just so it's more explicit, right? So now over here, right? What we really want to do, we need to get the bounding. So we need to get the height of the ul, not of the container, because the container is only visible in the viewport like this, right? So that's not going to work, I think. So here we need to say, so not really this. So we need to say const ul, or in the jQuery old way, naming the variable with this dollar sign as a kind of, it reflects that it's a selector, right? And then we can say here find by, no, current query selector UL, maybe first child, right? That would be basically the outer UL of the sections. So this one, because we have a nested one, we have sections, and then each section has another UL for the. Let's actually see if this would actually work when I click it. Yeah, it does work, right? So now we could do this, I think. And then this no longer is a selector, so we can say here, I don't know, UL height or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what to name it, but either way. And then over here. There we go. Now it goes all the way to the bottom, right? That was it. Okay, well, that's how it is. Now, yeah, that's what it is. And now we need to move this bad boy to create section, right? So we need to, we want to do this when you actually, ooh, yeah, that's not going to be good. Because this is asynchronous, right? So here we're going to have a concurrency issue because we're going to scroll before the element is up, before the DOM is updated. So this thing is going to have the wrong offset to say, right? It's not going to include the newly created element, I think, but let's give it a shot. So now if I go here and I create a new section, let's say this will be wrong due to concurrency issues, I think. If I say create, yeah, you can see I was right? Because we need to have an effect for this, right? Like literally if we have a timeout here, maybe. So we say set timeout, right? Just to see if I'm actually right, and I say 1000, right? And then I say defer this or execute this after 1 second, right? Let's see if that would do. So courses, blah, 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 add section with timeout, create. There we go, right? No, we're not gonna leave the timeout. I just wanted, but you can see that timeout solved it, which means it's a concurrency issue, right? So yeah, so we're gonna fix that, right, with a use effect, right? Obviously, we need to react to this effect. So when some change happens, right, we wanna, yeah. Oh wait, sorry. Oh, that's a wrong place completely. Completely wrong place. No, it's okay, right? That's just how it is, right? So we'll need to do this somehow here, right? We'll get rid of this. Let's just figure out what we're gonna base this on. So you know what we could do? I know what we could do, yeah. Maybe, just an idea, but bear with me. What if we say here, course sections dot length. But this, you know what the problem with this is now? This is gonna scroll now on component mount, right? Yeah, exactly. Well, why didn't you add the conditional operator? So just add this. Fresh. Oh, I see. It's the effect itself, right? I see. Okay. So the problem now is gonna exactly right. So that kind of sucks, right? But it could have been one way to do it, right? Matt Con, good evening, buddy. How is life? Give me a second here. Handle create sections. That's selected. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I think. Wait. Maybe we have some. Yeah. Wait. Blah blah blah. Set select. Yeah. All right. You know what? How is yours? Good, man. Good. Just hacking away. Family, kid, wife, job, work, stream. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much honestly it. Well, I mean, technically, everything that you don't learn seems scary, right? Once you learn anything, it seems natural, right? There's no difference with anything else, right? I do see the chat, Atakan, yeah. I do, guys, I do. Sorry, like you haven't been very active. People on YouTube, because I need a third state, right? There's a specific reason, but let me see if it's creating, wait, so set is creating true. No, here I have to set it, it's creating, oh, that's why, okay. So this should work. I'm just reading two chats, guys, one on Twitch and one on YouTube, so that's why I might neglect the YouTube more, because there's very few of you on YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Right? And that should be good. Somebody asked why null, right? It's very simple. I just came with a trick, right? So I'm saying when it's creating, set it to true. When you stop creating, set it to false. And then if creating isn't false, return, right? If it's false, execute this logic and then set it back to null, right? So the null state is the state when it's like a default state. True is it's creating so I can use that state for the button, right? So for example, create handle create section. Now I can actually here come to say course form. I can say is creating, right? Is creating. I can go to this course form, right? And now to the button as well here, because I've implemented all this, I can say is loading. So I'm an electrical engineer student and I have C++, so I'll start learning programming with C++. Is that a bad idea? No, C++ is a great language. It's a very good language to learn programming properly. So no, C++ will teach you a lot for sure. So that's definitely not. C++ was, I actually enjoyed writing C++. 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 There we go. Okay, well, that's it. So that works. All right, that's super cool. Great. Okay, so that's good. I did, yes. I worked, but I worked as with C++ many years ago, more than 10 years ago. I mean, if you're a university student, just follow whatever university teaches you, right? That's why you are at university. If you're lost, then university is either doing something wrong or you are, right? I'm scared that I won't get a job. I mean, I don't understand those questions, right? You will get a job when you're valuable when you make yourself valuable, right? I mean, I don't actually understand this question, honestly. No offense, right? If you make yourself valuable as an employee and if you can provide value and sell we are not different than products. All of you have to memorize that and remember it. All of us are products and we have to sell ourselves and we have to persuade others that we are worth something. So if you're scared that you will not be able to get a job, then better work hard, build up some skills, and then you will have a job, like 8 billion other people, right? I'm not sure what can I really answer to that, right? You can only have a job if you have something to offer. You will not buy a product when you go to the shop if it's useless to you. So nobody is going to pay your salary if you're useless either, right? How do you like Fastify over Express? Million times better in every possible way. So no matter who you are, if you have questions about how to get a job and stuff, make yourself valuable and then you will get a job. I mean, what else can I tell you, right? Market is always like this and like that, and market changes throughout history, but people who know how to do something and have something to offer, they will have a job. And if you don't know anything, then you will not have a job. I mean, it's a simple logic, right? you know, like what else is to say, right? If you're sitting home doing nothing, playing video games, and you're wondering why you don't have a job, what can I tell you, right? You expect that somebody's gonna come and knock on your door and say, yeah, you actually know, you have no fucking clue about anything, but let me just give you money for nothing. Come on. Come on. Well, Big Blaster, I don't disagree with you, man. Then make yourself that guy. You get what I mean? That's not the point. Some people, the whole point is that you have to sell yourself. Most people can only sell themselves by doing something, right? You get what I mean? Do some people bullshit their way into the industry of some sort? Sure, man. But I would not bet on that. I would not bet my life and say, I'm actually not going to put any work into anything. I'll just bullshit. That's a very dangerous bet to make, right? So I agree with you that some people, very few people, do that, sure. But would you bet on that? Would you just quit your school now and say, right? Selling yourself is the fundamental skill in life. Not fake it. No, it's not about faking it, man. It's not about faking it, right? If you have two individuals in an interview who are equally good, the one that can sell themselves better is going to get a job. The one that is articulated more, the one that says the right things, it's common sense, right? If you have 10 candidates which are the same, so it's not faking it, it's building yourself up, right? You are the product. Numinex, my friend, you too. And no, IT industry is not saturated, right? Bullshitting doesn't work for the most part, right? You can only bullshit to a certain point. So that's why I'm saying building social skills, being intelligent in that way is as important, and actually further on in your career, more important than writing code, right? So as you progress in this industry, as a developer, you become a tech lead, team lead, CTO, whatever, your technical skills diminish in value and your social skills increase in value exponentially. Because you're leading teams, now your skill is to influence people. How do you make the best out of people? How do you tell the right things? How do you manage people individually? Because all people are different, right? So you cannot just sit home and write code and think, yeah, if I just can write code, you know, I'll sell myself. You will not, right? That's not enough. If you can hire a person that's nice, kind, can talk, and can write the same code as the person who can't do that, who will you hire? It's simple logic, right? You're gonna hire the person who's articulated more, etc., etc., etc. It's that simple, right? It's not, right? So build yourself up as professionals, not as programmers. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not a programmer. You're not a lawyer. You're not a accountant. You're a professional. You have to have a balanced set of skills. That accountant doesn't only need to know how to read your books. It needs to know how to talk to you, right? How to get you to pay for him or her and not someone else. So that's why I say you have to build yourself as professional, not as some basement dweller who can write code in two different frameworks, right? Yeah, that's how it is, right? That's just reality, right? When I'm hiring people, there's nothing more important to me than those qualities, right? Can they talk? Can they think? Can they disagree? How do they disagree? How do they behave under pressure? How do they behave when they actually don't agree? Do they get aggressive, defensive, offensive? Do they listen? Do they not listen? All of these things are how you build great productive teams, right? You don't build the teams by giving a job to 5 best technical developers. Those 5 can just as well fail completely in that team, right? CSS gives me cancer. What is the cure? The cure is that you sit and learn it. When you learn it, it's not going to give you cancer. That's pretty much it. CSS is very easy if you put in the effort and you understand the importance of it, and then it becomes very easy. It's easier to teach someone to code than to... For sure, man. Exactly. That's why the best teams on the planet are teams composed of people with good characters, etc., right? At least long-lasting teams, right? For example, retention rate of employees at Google is it's almost a year, almost less than a year. Or in simple words, retention rate of people who stay at Google when they get a job is a year, 1 year, right? That's an incredibly low retention rate of a company that portrays itself as a cradle of technology, right? So an average person who gets a job at Google, they work there for a year, right? So what does that tell you? Come on, right? If hiring technically best people was always the solution, then everybody would be working at Google for 20 years, right? But it's not. People seek for place, right? Yeah, right. Wait, give me 1 second. Let me do it like this, because it's clear at this point that I'm not going to write any code because it's impossible. So let's just as well chat a little bit more if people have, yeah. Oh, wait. I didn't actually turn on the... Crystal, thank you, buddy. Let me turn on the hue lights, because that's gonna make me 10x developer immediately. 1 second. All right, there we go. Now I'm a real programmer. Without RGB, am I even writing the code? If you get what I... Oh shit, I didn't even turn on my streamer lights. What, dude? All right, now I'm a real programmer. Now I can actually write... I'm sorry, guys. This whole stream was a failure. I didn't turn on the lights. People get a job at Google so they can put it on CV, and then they can choose where they want to work. That's the story with Google. People spend like 12 months practicing some lead garbage crap. They get a job there. They work for a year. And then, because everybody's obsessed by those unicorn companies, it just opens a lot more doors to them. That's the game. That's why people do it. There's nothing special. There's many special things at Google and those big companies if you're really lucky to get and work on the really cool projects. But if they put you to build some Gmail support accordion page with 10 list items, then that's not very fun, is it? Right? Because not every project at Google or Microsoft or Apple, whatever, is, oh, you know, when I get a job at Google, I'm going to be working on a search engine. No, you will not. Did you like studying at university? I did, yes. I dropped out, but I did. I liked it very much, yeah. What I liked at my university is that we had a lab. We had a Cisco lab. So after my university, I would just stay at university and just play with hardware all night. Almost 3 years, Anton. Yeah, I did like my university. It was not top-notch university. It was a private school because I didn't have like top-notch grades in my gymnasium, so I couldn't get to the best schools. But I was very good already technically, even before my university, because I started working in IT before I went to university. Yeah, Anton, exactly. Yeah, well, I can tell you a short story. So I got a job in Sweden, and my professor told me, dude, you came to university so you can eventually get a job. If companies are already offering you a job, just go. If it doesn't work out, you can always come back. And I never came back. That's what happened. So I took that job, and my career just went like this, and I never came back, basically. So I need to find that professor one day and just thank him for that sentence. He literally said, you literally came to university so you can enable yourself to get a job. But I was already enabled. I already worked before my university, right? I'm not from the US, no. I live in Denmark. Yeah, that was the story. So it just happened like that, right? Because he was right. You do go to school to increase your own value. And since my value was already somehow sufficient to have a job, it just happened, right? And I was very fortunate that my career was always in startups, right? Is Denmark the best in the EU or anywhere? Depending what your values are, right? And depending what you mean by best, right? Depending what... Scandinavia in general is a social country, semi-social capitalistic country, right? So here it's about balance, it's about family, it's about... depending what your values are, then the answer there is what the best is for you, right? Copenhagen is amazing. It's the most beautiful city for me. I love it. I love, right? I'm not a fan of VR shit. I'm a little bit old-fashioned. You can call me. I'm very much, how would I say it? Yeah, I don't know the word. Yeah. Anton, we've been in Copenhagen for 7 years now. For 7 years now, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Copenhagen is I don't know, man. I'm so happy to be here. So grateful to have a chance to be here. It's crazy. Biking to work every day, even just that is beautiful. I mean, past few days it's been raining, like shower raining, and you just sit on your bike and you're still enjoying it, right? Who would you not recommend to move to Denmark? If you're a person who expects sunny weather all the time, if you hate rain, don't move here. If you hate dark, don't move here. I've never been to Aarhus. I've never been to Aarhus, but we're planning to go. But yeah. But overall, man, it's good people, good country, chill country. We work hard as well. We just work smart. Nobody here expects you to sit in the office 10 hours a day. You can go to the office when you want, go home when you want, right? It's the culture based in trust, and it just works. I think it's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. So if you like that, then it's for you. But not... We all have different values and what we want. For me, family is everything. It's cradle of life. My wife, my kid, and hopefully another kid one day. That's my biggest motivation. And this city and this country is very nice for family. If family is not something you're into, and if rain and dark and stuff affects you really badly, then probably you're gonna get a bit bored here, yeah. I can confirm that 100%, Anton. I can confirm that 100%. Yeah. Yep. I can confirm that 100%. Genuinely happy here. My wife is, my kid is. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. 100%. I mean, you know, I go to work at 9, come home at 4:30, right? There's plenty of time to enjoy many other things. We obviously don't work in the weekends, clearly, right? I met with my wife, man, like 16 years ago. I've been with my wife for almost 16 years. I was 20 years old and she was 19, so... And I enjoy this stream. I mean, obviously, as many of you know, I don't have to stream, right? I don't do this. I gain fun, and this is why I stream. Those chats that I have with you guys, this is why I stream, because it's nice and it's fun, and I meet people, and you know, I have an opportunity to have this chance to talk and then develop my own thought process more. So this for me is resting. This is not work for me, right? You know, when I'm tired, I don't stream because, again, I will never allow for this thing to become my work, right? This is also fun, and, you know, it's not something I impose on myself or something I force myself to do, right? Because value-wise, if we are to evaluate it by money or whatever, it's completely useless, right? Sako, and Sako is the guy I actually met in this stream, and we became very good friends, and now every now and then we hang out and stuff. So how beautiful that is, right? We met online, right? For sure, man. I don't know. I really love Denmark. I'm very happy here, and genuinely, like, if you're not happy in this country, then I think you have problems which are beyond anyone's control, right? Did you ever work in a corporation? I have not, and I never will. That's not for me. It's not for my character. It doesn't. I'm a very autonomous person. I wouldn't be able to operate there, right? Because corporations are generally very structured. You get very narrow set of tasks to do. Okay, let me just pull that thought back. I learned that you should never say never. So let's just imagine maybe when I'm 50 years old and I didn't get rich by then, by building my own company, then I would probably get a job at the bank and just do 4 operations every day, and that's it. But until then, no. I think it's not, especially if you're new to the industry, if you're young, you definitely want to work in a startup where you wear, as they say, wear many hats and have many responsibilities, and there's no structure, there's no process, right? Startups is where you learn good and bad things, right? I'm not saying that you don't learn in a corporate world. That would be unfair to say, but it's too structured, and you're too encapsulated in a little world, in a tiny world, and that's not for me. I'm not trying to suggest that that's not for you. We're all different. We all have different. Some people just go to work to get a salary and go home. Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly, it's as normal as people who don't do that. But I'm just saying corporations are not fitted for my personality. I love autonomy, and the worst thing that I hate is when people tell me what to do, right? Because I'm driven enough. I'm very invested into every product. I mean, at Dream Data, I am 100% invested. Programmer Network, I'm 100% invested. So when I do something, or in simple words, for me, I either do it or not. If I play a video game, I'll either strive to be the best, or I will not play it. And I'm not saying, again, this is the correct way to think. I'm just saying this is how my character is. It's just like that, right? And, you know, some people are not like that, some are, and that's fine. I mean, it would be horrible if we are all the same, right? That would be a pretty messed up world, right? So, yeah, that's really how it is, how I look at it, at least. Yeah, pretty much, Andrew. Yeah, that's what I like. That's what shit. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Ask yourself what it is that you want, and act accordingly. I would say don't listen to what I say, because I say only what I'm biased with, my own experience, my own values, my own desires, right? So not everybody is like that, right? Sorry. Sorry for the side question, but what devices do you have behind your voice except that may... A lot of startups could benefit from some best practices, though. I mean, it's a slippery slope. I agree to some extent, but that would be that's counterintuitive to why startups are startups. The whole point of hyper startups or non-hyper startups is that they can move fast, right? By moving fast, you obviously also make mistakes. You make the mistakes when you're moving slow. So depends, the startups are not incapable of process, right? The thing is, like, it's not that startup is also a company, right? And it's not that startups or companies of such type are incapable of process. It's a conscious decision to discard the process. It's not that people who are working there, it's not that my CTO and I and 3 or 4 other people cannot go tomorrow and add 15 different processes. That's not the point. Of course we can do that. But that is the whole yeah, sure. I think Skandri, you're right to a huge degree. But it's up to the startup and how they operate to decide that, right? Because when you have 3 people in the team and 5 people, then 50 people, then 500 people, you have limited access to how much process you can and you want and you should add, right? So when you're a startup of 3 people, you only want to make sure that your product has value, so you want to get it out there as quickly as possible, and you want to get some money, raise some money. When you have then 20 people, you raise some money, then sure, then you add some process. When you have then 150 people, that process just seeks for itself. It's not a matter of choice anymore. It's a matter of you must do it, right? So it's a life cycle that goes just organically. A process isn't something you necessarily always explicitly choose to do. It's something that shows itself because it's absolutely necessary. So you cannot implement an enterprise processes into a team of 5 people. That would make the team of 5 people completely incapable of producing anything of value, right? So that is the problem. So it's not a matter of can or cannot do, right? It's a matter of when you should and you should not do it, right? That is the difference. Right? If you look at the history of most recent or even older startups, you have 1 or 2 founders. They have some friends that can code something. Those friends come for a day or 2. They write some code for them for free. Then, they get some guy from India or whatever, from Russia, whatever, to build something for cheap, right? So you're in a stage where process is your last concern. You're in a stage where it's like, fuck, I have a limited funds. How can we get this out as quickly as possible, right? And then you improve from there, right? That's right. So but startups in general, if you like to, again, if you're a person who likes autonomy, who likes to be thrown to multiple things that sometimes you haven't even done, startups are a great place. If you're a person who likes structure, you like to be given things, because again, I might say this in a negative way, but we need also people who, for example, have opposite character of mind. Not everybody can be driven and self-driven, and not can, but shouldn't. We also need people who you can just give tasks to, and they're gonna perfectly execute them, and then you're gonna give them other tasks. So all sorts of mentalities are needed. Every team needs both or all types of people, right? So it's not to say that one is the better than the other, right? You need people who are also we cannot all talk in the meetings and be proactive and come up with ideas, because we would never get anything done, right? So you need a mixture of mentalities and characters, right, to build a good team, right? Yeah. All right, fellas. I think it's 11 p.m. here. I think my wife is still awake. I would like to see her a bit more. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a super nice discussions. I hope that some of you did as well. Yeah, I'll see you guys most likely tomorrow. Anton, you too. Andrew, everybody, thank you guys. I hope you learned something. Sako, if you're still there, I love you, man. We'll see each other soon. Darius, Dawn, Rebecca, or all of you guys, whoever, Skandra, or any other that are still around. Thank you very much, and I wish you best. And yeah, as always, work hard, be kind to yourselves, and I wish you well. Yeah, peace out, guys. All the best. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.